Alright, let's dive into something that's been buzzing in the crypto space lately, Ripple's latest move with the XRP Ledger. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me hit you with a question. What if Wall Street could operate with the privacy of a Swiss bank account but on a blockchain? Sounds like a paradox, right? Well, that's exactly what Ripple is trying to pull off with their new confidential transfers feature. And personally, I think this is a game changer, not just for XRP, but for the entire tokenized asset market. Here's the deal. Ripple's XRP Ledger version 3.3.0 just dropped, and it's packed with 6 proposed amendments. But the star of the show is confidential transfers. What makes this really interesting is that it's designed to let institutions encrypt balances and payment amounts for tokenized assets. Think about it, Wall Street loves privacy, and blockchain loves transparency. This feature is like trying to marry two opposites. What many people don't realize is that this isn't just about hiding numbers, it's about making tokenized assets more appealing to institutional players who are still on the fence about crypto. Now, let's talk numbers. There's already over $1.38 billion in tokenized assets on the XRP Ledger, with big names like RLUSD, Ondo, and Societe Generale in the mix. But here's the kicker, over $530 million of that is sitting outside RLUSD, and it's concentrated in just a handful of issuers. From my perspective, this is a huge opportunity for Ripple to expand its reach. If confidential transfers gets the green light, it could be the catalyst that brings more institutional money into the ecosystem. But here's where it gets tricky. The feature isn't live yet, it needs 80% validator support for 2 weeks. And even if it passes, there's no guarantee that institutions will actually use it. I mean, Aviva investors just launched a tokenized share class on XRP, but will they opt for encrypted balances? That's the million-dollar question. What this really suggests is that Ripple is betting big on institutional adoption, but the ball is now in the validators and institutions' court. Now, let's zoom out for a second. This isn't just about Ripple or XRP. If you take a step back and think about it, this is part of a bigger trend in crypto, the push toward tokenizing real-world assets. We're talking stocks, bonds, real estate, you name it. But the challenge has always been privacy. Blockchain's transparency is a double-edged sword. Confidential transfers could be the key to solving that problem, and if it works, it could set a precedent for other blockchains to follow. One thing that immediately stands out is how Ripple is packaging this update with other institutional-friendly features. Batch transactions, fee sponsorship, permission delegation, these aren't just random additions. They're all aimed at making XRP Ledger more enterprise-ready. In my opinion, Ripple is playing the long game here. They're not just building a blockchain, they're building an ecosystem that can compete with traditional financial systems. But let's not forget the elephant in the room, quantum readiness. While Ripple is focused on tokenized assets, Zcash is tackling a different beast with its Tachyon upgrade. Zcash aims to scale shielded payments and prepare for a quantum future. What makes this fascinating is that both projects are addressing privacy, but in completely different ways. Ripple is catering to institutions, while Zcash is doubling down on individual privacy. This raises a deeper question: can these two approaches coexist, or are they on a collision course? Personally, I think the crypto space is big enough for both. Ripple's move could bring Wall Street to blockchain, while Zcash could keep individual users safe from prying eyes. But here's the thing, both projects are testing the limits of their funding, security, and governance. It's like they're building planes while flying them. A detail I find fascinating is how these upgrades aren't just technical, they're also social experiments. Can decentralized communities handle these massive changes without falling apart? So, where does this leave us? Ripple's confidential transfers could be the key to unlocking institutional adoption, but it's far from a done deal. And Zcash's Tachyon upgrade? It's a bold bet on the future of privacy in a quantum world. What this really suggests is that crypto is evolving faster than ever, and the next few years are going to be wild. If you're not paying attention, you're going to miss it. Here's my closing thought. Crypto isn't just about making money. It's about redefining how we think about finance, privacy, and trust. Ripple and Zcash are both pushing the boundaries in their own ways, and that's what makes this space so exciting. So, what do you think? Is Ripple onto something, or is this just another feature that'll collect dust? Let me know in the comments. I'm all ears.